What's up, everyone? Welcome back. We are live. We are live. Welcome back to another live. Earlier, I was doing a live and I lose that live because I got run out of battery. So, finish planting. I'm here watering in my plants. So, join the live. Welcome to the live. Hey guys, this is a new garden bed space that I start to create yesterday so that I could get my seedling going in the ground. So this is all rich organic soil mixture and compost, with worm cast and all that good stuff. Cow manure and a good rich soil. I'm gonna add some organic compost as these plant develop some more. But yeah, these are some spinach. In this cooler section here, we have some spinach going. And then we got our kale going up the other side. And in this back section here, we have some carrots. And as you know, guys, these carrots are kind of an experiment because I start them inside seed starting container, and the history and the success rate of carrot, they are better off sown directly inside the soil, instead of try to start them inside a seed starter. Because the thing is that the whole process in transplanting, you might damage the root of the carrot. As you know, those are root plants. So really do recommend more root plant sown directly in the soil. Like your carrot, your turnips, your beets, your radish, even though these are some radish. And that's what the same thing I was gonna go about. This is a radish right here into the ground, so hopefully, I still get success from these ones. I still have confidence, guys. Earlier in the live, if you see the carrot root, we did have some of the root that was protected. So it's definitely something I'm looking forward to. But if you're joining the live, welcome to the live. Earlier I was on the live, but my battery went out, so I'm here watering in those plants that I got going earlier. So we have spinach down at the side here, down into the cola section. I got some carrots going in the back. And all at the front we have our kale. Different type of, I think, two different type of kale. So I'm excited to see these growing in, guys. Definitely gonna have some early cool crop vegetable to eat. And going up the side, like I said, that one is a radish. And we're going over to our switch chard. These are all switch chard, guys. You know, Still kind of a bit cold. It does get cold at night. Hopefully I don't get any frost that may eat all these plants up away from me. So hopefully the frost doesn't come and eat my plant before I get to eat them. So this is kind of a early risk in a sense. Getting in this plant in the ground this early. As it is early spring, early April, but we better take the chance than not. I have them sitting in and they were in the container soil seed starter and they were overgrown, and getting too big, ready to transplant. So instead of transplanting them in other container, I just take the chance with these ones straight into the soil, as in them being the more whole hardy crop. You know, Typically spinach and all that do well in very, very early spring or late fall. So they're pretty good at surviving through the cold spell. And we have some spinach that will actually survive through winter. Those harder leaf spinach and some sweet straw. I literally have sweet straw, guys, without doing extra mulch. I have sweet straw that have survived pretty much all winter. Buried in snow melt, sweet straw is still there. You know what I mean? I think the most part for it is when if we turn to freezing ice and that snow turn to ice around the plant, then that will kill the plant. But if it's just fluffy snow, stay around it for a few days and melt away, the plant literally bounce back. Those, you consider really, really cold hardy crop. And your kale, you can get away with that. Sweet straw is one of them. Which this whole area is all sweet straw at the moment. So welcome to the live. If you're joining my live, I appreciate if you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Greatly appreciate it as well if you haven't. But this a nice new garden bed space that I create for my new winter veg, cold hardy vegetable. I want to get them into the ground, so I create this space so that I can get them out here early spring. So I plant them early and alive. My batch went out, so now I'm here giving them a nice watering into their new home. In a couple of days, I'm gonna get them some compost tea. Definitely gonna get my contraption going to make some compost tea. It's another great organic element that you can add to your soil. So, yeah, pretty nice, huh? We take back those other vegetable inside. We still have a whole ton of other vegetable inside, So tomorrow we're gonna be on to more planting. This is a whole other side of the space here that, this is just a chalice in between that I was using to, host bean. There's a lot of bean that used to grow, as you can see. Still have some beans, some bean vine here in this section. Can go down over here for compost. So yeah, earlier we put some leaf trimming. You see, it's pretty dark on this side, guys. It's getting dark here, but here I have my light going over here. So more darkness, light. You see how light can be, guys. Just over this chalice here, right? We get that darker. But yeah, this section we have to develop some more. Gonna add more organic components, some more stick, and some leaf mulch, then some straw. We're gonna build it up so that we got a level more up to the concrete. So it's another nice spot that we have to grow some veg here in the back. I'm definitely utilizing this space this year, you guys. Nothing goes to waste, and all these vegetables that I have start inside, just a plus and a win-win, creating this extra space literally outside my kitchen window. If you turn around and look, so I'm excited. They have a whole bean thing going there in that pot. If I can open this a bit here. My beans are looking well. You can see I actually prune some of it. These are my sugar syrup bean. And I also have some little marvel to plant. But the other day, guys, I decided to plant this bean in these plastic container that I got. I got a good handful of these one, probably a whole dozen of them. So I'm excited to do some container growing this season. The only thing when I was working with it, these come automatically with some hole in the side of it. So having that hole, it took me after a while when I was filling it to realizing that not all of it I necessarily want to have that hole in the side. It might come in handy for some plant, like strawberry. I'm looking to put some strawberry in that in one of these. Try some strawberry. Some might, as it is in it, can just have it hanging out the side. But for the example, this one, guys, I was filling and I was planning to bringing it inside the house so that the cold doesn't eat them, as I put it. So I plant them inside this one, so I came with the idea of putting cardboard to kind of stop the hole, so I don't have trouble with the hole, for the moment. So this is literally right by my kitchen door, heading out the side, and this is where my little tent is, my little 2x4 tent, housing a lot of other greens inside. So we still have a lot more going, you know, a lot we just planted outside right now. From your spinach to your kale in the middle, to some carrots in the back, and then we got our sweet start going up this side, and a handful of radish. Still have more radish to replant or to transplant to say, but I come in here, go on my little light right here. You can see still have a ton of plant going or to transplant, Still have some more beans. So cabbage, tomato seedling are still looking a little smaller, so I'm gonna get those underneath the light going more as the next few weeks go. Maybe we have almost a month for tomato is fully ready to go outside necessarily. So have those going inside for a good while. Then those bigger one in the far right are some cabbage. Can transplant those anytime, honestly. I have some tire. I'm gonna grow some cabbage in tire this season. And I heard that one cabbage for tire. So that big giant cabbage type of thing I'm talking about. So those are some cabbage. I think those are the golden ace. I wanna plant some red cabbage. In between the cabbage over there, as I said, the one in the far right are all marigold. I think I count around 34 different individual plants. So those I want to transplant. That flowers in the far left over here, in the middle, is kale. I already planted out a good portion of kale. Those are some smaller ones that I took from the flowers and replant so that they get a sturdier start. Those I might end up plant, I give some of those away. Those in the back right there now, if I can zoom in, is moringa. 4 moringa plant. 3 of them, guys, I plant first. Those ones I put the seed inside my mouth, kind of get my energy and my saliva into it. So for that one, kind of have my DNA going, as they have that theory go as far as that science behind. If you put the plant in your mouth and get that energy and that saliva going, it plant should develop and come in where you have beneficial property to your own benefit and your bill, and in that sense of nutrition and value of that plant, then adjust to what you need in that sense. So that's also a whole myth in the sense of legend in gardening, whether it's true or not. We do practice it sometimes for just the good energy. Got green onion as there in the other middle part right there. So we do have a lot of vegetable still going inside. And we want to start some more tomato tonight. Really, I keep saying that couple nights now that I'm gonna start some more tomato, but tonight is the night because we really don't have a lot of window left. If you're gonna start plant inside, you wanna get them already going, established, or if you even say that tonight I want to, it's not necessary too late as I might have a month of tomato grow. I will say a whole month to get them going before I have to before the season get going too much, in that sense where it would make no sense starting them inside anymore. But I think I still have some more window for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and start some tomato tonight. But yeah, those kale are already looking alive, looking healthy. Seem like they're already woken up into their existing style. As you can see, guys, look, a beautiful kale. Hopefully that these kales are not the giant one. I know some kales does get big. I don't want these to be too big, but as I expressed, I'm gonna come in plant like right there in the middle. It would be a marigold all the way lining through for a little pest control and to repel some of those nanobots. That's what we're gonna call them. Little nanobots or little creepy crawly and those crawling insect and flying insect that wanna eat a plant. So we're gonna be securing the perimeter with a lot of marigold. We already have about 34, 36 individual marigold plant going inside. I want 3, 4, 5 times that amount, honestly. I wanna have some more marigold that when I look around, I'm like, man, there's actually no space to plant more. That's why I would rather it, so that they just all over the place rather than having just, a little bit. Normally, we buy marigold at the, not necessarily the garden center, but, the home hardware development store. Like we have Menards, Home Depot, would say, I'm saying Depot, Home Depot. So we usually go. And when you start buying those plant, guys, they get expensive. You talk about a floss, a marigold plant, probably by now it's in like $9, $9 something, 8 something. Look if you get it for 7 something for just a floss of maybe a dozen, sometimes a 6. Actually, it's 6 plant they start to put in some you're lucky, even though you don't necessarily transplant those plants. Some you may lucky to get 2. Lucky if you see 3 plant in one floss. Sometimes it's just one in an individual section of the floss. So it get pricey. Imagine have to buy dozens and dozens of marigold to bring extra enforcement in your garden as far as not having to, obviously it's organic growing, guys. So you're not gonna be using any pesticide, any type of spray or adamant or anything like that. So organic. Here we have all our switch chart over this side here. But yeah, I'm just getting a good force of light watering going. This thing down in here a second here. Then guys, I'm pushing in down my, you would see, but you can't see right now because I have it anchored and obviously the phone is inside, but I'm pushing down the top of my tripod thing here that holding my phone. I put it down in the dirt and it does have a hole in it, as in it is a metal rod. So I can't imagine all that extra dirt that I have going up inside of it right now. The fact that I anchor it down in the soil. That's kind of funny. Guy where it kind of knocked my video out for a moment. It's like this AI GPS type of guy come on my screen. Trying to give me option, but you see there's some sensor technology. I would rather it go away because it does interfere with my YouTube when it come on and I move the phone certain way too fast. That thing chip in, and it seems to create a blackout period, in that moment, or blackout state until I remove it from the screen. Then kind of go when I tap the screen. So yeah, I don't really like it. I'm gonna look into if I can get rid of it. I'm gonna see what it call and disable it maybe if it's some type of feature. Because it's actually creating more harm, especially when I do my video, more than good. Because I never use it for whatever purpose it is to ask it any question. So I don't know if it's a automatic thing that install into the phone. But if I do have the option to disable it and it wouldn't affect the phone, the phone operation after that, I would definitely disable it. But yeah, those are some carrot, guys. Water, they mean. It's pretty chilly right now, I can feel temperature, not to say freezing, in the way that obviously I'm watering these things. Imagine if this soil would freeze around this plant right now. It wouldn't be a good thing. Tomorrow, I think we're going to be in the 70. I'm looking forward to that. That's why I want to really get these watering nicely. So tomorrow they're so nice and soak. That's when the extra little sun come up. You wouldn't give these seedlings no trouble. They've been out here since today, in the floss to kind of get them accumulate to the whole environment and adjust to being outside as they were inside in that little grow tent. So These are young seedling guys, so I'm also washing them off. Honestly, you know how I water my plants. When they get bigger, I water them from the root. You know, don't I typically leave the hose in the like in the soil like this. But now I'm kind of just spraying them off, honestly, in the sense that they're inside and obviously they're in a tent. It's kind of like a wash as well. But as they get bigger, I typically don't water my plant like this from the top or from the leaves. You know, and if you do, it is nighttime right now, so it's a great time. So you have to do that typically in the early morning. Nighttime is preferred because you have all that hours of nighttime downtime without the sun, where the sun not gonna come up again for hours. If you do it in the early morning, no matter how early it is, typically, you know, even if you go before 6 at the time, some sunrise, some places is 6, even if it's 7. So in no time the sun gonna come up and start to scorch those plants, and it depends on where they are. So you're better off safe if you're gonna water your plant and water the leaves in evening time. And depends on the plant, like some tomato plant don't like that excessive water on the leaf at night. See, can cause leaf rot, leaf mildew, and that. So still the safest way, guys, is to water plant from the root. But these are tiny seedling right now, so I'm not too worried about that right now. And we literally in early spring, no scorching hot sun as yet, our temperature. So even if the sun is out, it's so cold still that it will contradict the whole sense of the sun being out. It's so cold that, you know, it does blend in a sense where, you know, you don't have too hot or you don't have too cold in that sense. So sometimes you end up get the perfect weather in spring, honestly, kind of how fall can be sometimes. But at night the temperature can drop really low. So hence is where you kind of have to wait. Getting a call here. I'm gonna have to call you guys back. Hold on. I'll call you back. Sorry. Yeah, I will call back. Well, yeah, it does get cold, guys. So that's why really in this type of zone here, we are in zone 5B to be exact, but between 5B 6 here in Illinois. You know, so typically the safest time to put plant outside is, you know, after Mother's Day. They judge it, you know, in the middle of May, sometime around there is when you don't have to worry about other frost, you know. But in between then, you know, your plant can subject to cold temperature, potential frost. So I didn't even check honestly which exactly day is my last frost day, even though you don't have to stretch all the way until May, in middle of May after Mother's Day. But that's just the typically, you know, a tradition time for people here to practice to plant, you know, their stuff during those time, knowing that it's a safe time and you not have to be worrying about your plant freeze from the frost overnight. You know, so needless to say right now is what I think the 10 of April, so it's still early. You know, so 10 of April opposed to the middle of the middle of May, so it's like a month away from now. So do you think that these plants gonna experience frost in between by a month from now? You know, so not really sure, but honestly, after they establish, I know that a little night of frost won't kill them. You know, unless the other express guys, the ground would have just freeze completely. In the sense that now that I'm watering them tonight, ground is saturated, wet, is new ground, you know, and if they would freeze, obviously you freeze the plant. But a little bit of cold temperature, and even if they establish well after this, after tonight, even tonight by tomorrow, these plants gonna accumulate into their new environment. By the time they get new root and start to get vigorous into this new environment, a little bit of spring cold or even frost won't kill them. You know, they still would survive for sure. You know, so that's beautiful spinach right there. So yeah, we got our spinach going down in the cooler part of the bed here. And then coming up, we got our kale, some carrots in the back, And then up in the section there, I wanna shadow the light. We're getting up closer after the kale. We got more sweet start going. Look more carrots in the back. But carrot is was an experiment, guys. And it's the first I start carrot in seed starter instead directly in the soil. And carrot is one of those fragile one that do better directly in the soil opposed to starting in a seed starter. Just because they're a root plant and they send out roots so fast and vigorous. And by the time you go around transplanting them, you don't wanna damage the top root. So these carrot seedling, you know, would have been better off if they were directly sown. But trust me, guys, I did my best to not damage any root. Or some of it I actually plant within the seed starter as they were organic cardboard type of material. So I put them inside the seed starter just like it is. And as you see in that small space, it's probably a little bit too much carrot. But they get bigger, I can thin out whatever ones I see more fragile. So either way, I'm still still these carrot gonna give me success. Even though I go beyond the whole concept of gardening in the sense of where you get better results. But we're still gonna be direct sowing some carrot inside the beds as we go. On the other side of gardening, I haven't even prepped as yet. This area, guys, is literally a new space. Not to say new space where I never grow veg before, but last year I literally didn't grow anything on it. And some season this garden bed kind of reside over the years, and the soil kind of keeps shrinking in a way. As I expressed earlier, I don't know if it's because we're lower than the neighbor, so the water come down to us, and this wall may not be designed properly as in the beginning to drain the water and run it away enough. So as you see me build up this soil all the way up, it was definitely at least some good 6 inches, below what it is right now. So this is all organic. I start with pieces of wood, pieces of sticks, kind of layer that down under the first surface, and then I use some leaf mulch that I collect from my neighbor last season. I was getting rid of them and I tell him to just dump them off. So I use some leaf mulch, create a whole different layer of leaf mulch as well on the stick. Then I use some straw on that leaf mulch. That was all before I start to use my soil. And I use some topsoil and all that. Then I get to my nicer organic garden mix soil, which is more, you know, there's some cow manure in it. There's rum casting and also my organic homegrown or homemade compost. I haven't had that yet, so I'm gonna add some of that as well. But yeah, the whole idea was to get this up and going so that I could plant my early cold crop, my cold hardy crop that I can get away with putting inside the ground in this type of, this time of the month, in early April. So as long as we don't have any crazy snow, like we have a snowfall and then freezing, I shouldn't be having any trouble. 32 is freezing. Anything below 32, you're talking about ice starting to form. And that's not what we want. If this bed should turn into ice, definitely would take the seedling and just eat them along with them with that. And we don't want that. So if it's a little bit of cold as far as the frost, once they root, adjust into the soil and get accumulate into the new environment, it will survive that type of frost. In the sense that they are more cold hardy crop. I'm gonna get some lettuce in here as well. Over on the other side. As this side to me right now, guys, is kind of tapped out of vegetable. It's already looking a little crowded in the sense that I know if I like these spinach, are not spinach, but these are the kale. They will come together more as one. So I'm not worrying about that as they are the same species. But I don't want to put too much inside here anymore. These are my spinach. So the really only thing that I want to add to this section right now is the marigold and some Probably a couple down in the perimeter of the end over there. Probably couple basil, even though that area doesn't get all much sunlight, but maybe in the back too. But basil help repel certain bad insect for the garden. So probably some mint. I used to have mint going there, some black mint that used to be down in the corner there, deep down there. But maybe try I wasn't taking care of it. It was just there, and same thing if the soil reside and just kind of lose the body from around the plant root, then it kind of exposed to winter more so then that causes the plant to die off. Kind of that's why blueberry bush is kind of hard sometimes to sustain in these areas. Sometimes people don't get around to mulch them enough. Then the soil reside from around it, then the root exposed to so much freezing, and then they freeze. So it's the same concept for plants, guys. Even though some plant may survive winter and it's considered perennial, which meaning that it come back every year. It still can die off. If you don't mulch it, or if the soil existing soil around it expose the root too much. So but yeah. So I feel like this is definitely mission accomplished. A beautiful spinach down in here. It's more darker, more shade down in here. Coming up to our spinach. We start to get to our there's more spinach, guys. Actually, I think two different type of spinach. And then there's some carrot in the back. As I expressed that those are experiment carrot. As typically start carrot directly in the ground. Those were sown inside seed starter. So try my best not to damage the taproot. So I'm still having optimus. I have good feeling about those still giving me good result. Then we have our kale. So all kale. Kale. Come up to the side here. Then we start going over to our switch chard. So this is just a small bit of our early crop, cold hardy vegetable that we can definitely sustain ourselves within the earlier part of the season. Before we really start getting our tomatoes, all those other ones. So definitely looking forward to see what this season is gonna bring. And tomorrow mission is to get this other side prep. It's a whole other length of the wall go right here. So as you can see, come all the way down. This was just a chalice I had over the years. It's kind of getting wobbly, bent up from just the environment and the sun, rain, all that weather. I might move it. I might use it one last time to hold some bean. But see now I put switch charge, so I might not cover that area with the bean unless I can get the bean to come up, hover above the switch charge and not, mess with the ground part of it and climb the chalice here. Then I might put some bean here. Otherwise, I might move the chalice, which then open up more sun in this lower part here to this section of garden bed. As you can see, light, because I have the light over here, it's not penetrating through here that much. You have dark on this side. So, I know the sun typically is not this low, obviously pointing from the house. Guys, that's all my you know, cardboard I was using as well as my soil bag that I threw here. But anyway, the sun is not this low, so it's not like it would be hovering over the house. So it does come down at from a more higher level. So it would definitely penetrate here in the sense that, but give you an idea what I'm saying though, that this part can block some sun, obviously, especially the morning sun that coming from a lower point over the lake. So I might move this, depends, or I might just put some more shade crop in the back there, so then I don't have to worry about it. Like I said, I might run some beans on this chalice again, but it is getting a bit wobbly and twisted up. So, because one time it was very straight, guys, straight. Imagine it was straight, all hold up. It's all leaned and falling over and twisted. It's coming from the ground. So, there's a whole project at one time. Look nice and all that. Now it's looking shabby. So it's still my nice soil mix. Still have a whole ton of soil in it. That my machete, which is really more danger than certain machete that I typically use, having this whole saw danger teeth going in the back here. You know, it's literally something that you can use to, like, it's not, you know, this is kind of too soft, the cardboard, but, you know, like I could literally use it to cut this wood into a saw effect. I don't want to destroy my spade though, my shovel, even though I have more shovel. But yeah, definitely excited to join in the live tonight. You know, you leave me a nice thumbs up. You know, if you haven't subscribed to my channel as yet, subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. And some of these live I will go back and repost onto their own individual video on my YouTube channel, so you can rewatch if you missed the live itself. So you can come back and see where we started from. So few months from now you come here, all this bed is all grown in. I'm eating fresh vegetable. Walking in from my kitchen, boom, that's my stove right there. There's some beans right there. I got there some peas. See that mosquito net kind of glaring that thing there, creating that effect. But yeah, that's my bean. So yeah, it's literally right outside my kitchen window. Easy access. I'm just gonna come get fresh vegetable. I remember having, you know, I grow anything from, you know, sweet start here before, you know, basil, not oregano, because oregano definitely perennial. That one would have been infest and take over the place. The one time I had mint back here, that one was perennial, but it eventually died off. But typically it's season crop that I would put here, so crop that would just eat for the season and then they, you know, renew. I have cabbage back here before, you know, you name it, a bunch of stuff. It's like been a couple seasons though I haven't been doing much back here. So for this season we decided to develop the era more. Or even in the past I didn't even do all of this in the sense of where I take cardboard and put a barrier between the fence and my garden space so that I don't have all that weeds coming in too much, you know, creeping into my garden bed. You know, that's kind of how I did that to eliminate all that extra work and headache. You know, you know, so it's a win-win for me. As you can see here, some weed go up there. You know, imagine if it was coming down. I have this cardboard kind of relaying and some going on the flat surface of underneath the bed. You know, so it's a good height. So imagine if I didn't have that though, so much of this extra weed would eventually come up in the season and give me trouble in my garden bed. So that's the reason why I put this cardboard in between that fence layer and the garden bed so that I eliminate the extra weed that will come up. You know, so that was my mission. So yeah, we're getting this garden bed nice and watering right now. So I'm excited. Starting from our spinach, kale, bunch of kale coming up, carrots in the back, and then we start going to our sweet chard. So there's 4 different to 5 different vegetable. Some radish inside that seed starter still. But yeah, if you're just joining my live, welcome to the live. I appreciate you. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I greatly appreciate that as well. You can let me know where you're coming from. We can start a little chat in the live. Sometimes I like to get on the chat, talk to people a little bit and see where they're coming from and what they got to offer in the sense of, you know, howdy. You know, it's a platform of, you know, love, positive energy. And, you know, we all learn and grow from each other. So, you know, not no professional in any sense of, I do have a good green thumb that I do have great success with plant. And that's from being from a child. You know, I grew up farming all my life in that sense and grew up born and raised by farmers. You know, so we definitely have the experience in that regard, and we're hard working individuals. So anything we put toward our will and our tests, you know, we typically always succeed or at least bring good result. So that's my mission, to grow organic healthy food that I can enjoy my organic vegetables, herbs and spice, limit my spending at the grocery store, knowing what I'm getting, knowing what I buy, and that is my own healthy food. And I know where it's coming from. Organic, no pesticide, no growth hormone, no fertilizer. You know, I'm gonna get some marigold plant going inside this space. Probably no later than tomorrow. Get these plant a little bit of security as far as you know pest control in that sense. A little bit of some basil as well. Little mint to help. All those plant that companion plant that help fight pests. So that's my mission. But yeah, gonna take this here in that regard, and not gonna make it too complicated. Turn this thing around a bit. You guys see me? Yeah, live from the garden. My new space, my old new space, really. Honestly, So I consider it old new space because I it's been here for a long time, but I didn't grow anything here last year, and it's been a good minute. I haven't developed it so much. And honestly, guys, I don't know if I've developed it so much where I add so much good soil. So I'm looking for good result here overall. So I got the vegetable in, so my problem now is just to keep them from getting eaten. From pests are getting over infested from aphid and all of those, eating insect and all those vegetable eating insect. And so what we want is to get some nice companion plant in here, marigold and those things, things that's gonna attract butterflies and attract good beneficial pests, like some of those wasp. If it's tomato, harness wasp. It's pretty amazing. Help it aphid. Obviously, it's a natural environment, so a lot of our ladybugs introduce themselves over time, if especially if they come and find out there's food. But by then we don't want that because that would mean that there's a bunch of aphid eating on your stuff, and ladybug come in and find out that hey, they are here, so let's stay. But we don't want that. So we want to keep it organic, keep it infest from all pests before we worry about solving the problem. They always say prevent better than cure. So before we worry about cure, we prevent it from happening in the first place. So that's my mission. So I'm very excited right now to put these plants outside and to get this type of result here. So man, you don't know how I'm excited right now. Bunch of plants, a whole big long layer of from spinach, kale, switch chard to some carrot in the back. That mean early planting, mean early reaping, mean early harvest as far as having vegetable early. So I'm excited. I'm losing the water here, turning back this around. But yeah, very excited, guys. In the next couple of weeks, I can come and cut kale, start eating kale leaf, and whether making smoothie. Those kale chips is pretty good in the air fryer if you wanna do that. And just anywhere, from fresh vegetable, fresh salad, to steamed vegetable, all the above. We're gonna be using kale. Same thing for switch chard. And one of the most healthiest vegetable that I have in my garden that just come in wild every season is that purslane. I love to mix purslane with my kale or with my switch chard and make a perfect blend of rich vegetable. That purslane, guys, look it up if you don't know. It's literally it's a wild weed, typically grow wild in certain area on the ground outside of the road. But it's used in Asia a lot and in European dish. But purslane is literally one of the most potent plant in omega-3 fatty acid. And that omega is natural. It's not like fish oil, where you end up having those, you know, overlay of, all the different additive that they add in those things and to make them, but your body digests the plant way more easier, way more beneficial. So, and it's some of the strongest potent and more um, purest form of fatty acid, you know. omega 3, and then amino acid natural. So you can't go wrong, guys. So, so purslane, check it out. It's grow wild, but it's the most healthiest as far as it come to that. So I like to reap the purslane and add it in my switch chard, and my kale, make a nice steam mix. So yeah, I feel I'm accomplished for the night. Tomorrow the mission continue as well. Still have a lot more vegetable to go in, and tonight we're gonna start some tomato seedling. I'm excited for that as well. But yeah, I think we're already watering this plant enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it on this video. Appreciate whoever tapped in tonight on the live. Earlier I had a nice live going on, the phone battery died on me, so I came up back with this one as I'm watering the plants. Give you guys my finished job for this side of the bed right here. The plants are already inside, adjusting already, accumulating to the new space. I'm excited for that. But yeah, spin this around one last time. Give you guys a tap out checking out on this. But yeah, live from my garden space here. My new old garden space. I'm very excited to bring you guys into this space in the next few weeks. See you, see what's going on, the update and the development onto this, and just enjoying you know uh, fresh vegetable right from. Look at where I'm at, guys. Boom, it's my vegetable garden space. Literally top in the wall here, less than a feet or less than a foot from behind me, and that's my kitchen right there. So that's the mission. From garden to the kitchen, fresh and organic. You know what I mean? So garden, ready, and kitchen, ready. So I've been in and out this door, bringing in fresh vegetable, wash, ready to cook. That's the mission. So appreciate your energy, appreciate your time that you shared with me earlier. Anyone that was on the live earlier, appreciate you, and anyone that have subscribed. Why am I losing my? You, you know, cha. What? Hey, cha. All right. Why am I losing my thought and my language here, guys? Yeah. So yeah, anyone that have subscribed to my channel earlier, I greatly appreciate it. Anyone that have subscribed already, thank you very much. I've been rocking with me, all my new subscriber lately. Thank you. I'm looking forward to see you guys engaging in the comment section. Share your thoughts. You know, you may not gardening, maybe you're not gardening at the moment, but who doesn't like to see food grown on, organic food? So share your thoughts either way, or just engage in a conversation, so it's a friendly platform, open to anybody. Nobody's judge and nobody's profile against, so we are welcome here. Share your thoughts, share your experience, and if you're a knowledge gardener, I appreciate your input as well, and you know might learn a thing or a few from each other. So but yeah, looking forward for the next video live here from my garden space. Looking forward to show you guys updates. So if you haven't subscribed as yet, please do so that we can join and you can tap in on the update and see and enjoying some of these vegetables in the sense. And if you're in the neighboring community, you know me, want some fresh veg as we get going, tap in, we're gonna be having. So welcome to the live. We're just joining the live. We're looking to end this one here. So I appreciate you. Give me a thumbs up. Leave your presence. Appreciate your subscribe as well. But we're gonna take this one here. But these are some vegetable that we replant in this bed, and for whoever just joining the live. So it's a new space, new old space to say. So I just developed this space here that's been here exists. Nice organic soil and mulch, and get it going. So, but yeah, guys, greatly appreciate everyone. So see you on the next video. Live out from the garden space, guys. Blessings to everybody. Peace and love. Yeah, I'm having my finger coming up on the screen here. That's funny. Maybe that's not how I should go out actually. I don't know. Let me see here. Maybe crazy as the team. I have my bean going in the kitchen right there. I have my bean in my container right here, guys. Kind of have this. Zoom it in back out there. Doing nice. I have my cinnapin peas. These are all nice new growth coming in up top there, rolling on to the new space. But yeah, if we don't go like that, going out like this, then I guess. But yeah, but as I said, I feel like I have to use my finger and it just look weird coming up there, tapping at the end there. So yeah, blessings to everybody. Peace and love to the ones that have been here. One love. See you on the next video. Peace.